the Giants are giving up, or they're averaging 341, but they're giving up a ton. They're actually giving up more than the Redskins, and especially through the air. So Haskins, coming off his best game as a pro last week, Cakes, this could be back-to-back weeks, big games for him.
And I think he's got that little extra bit of motivation facing the Giants, facing the team that could have picked him at number 6 overall. I think he clearly feels slighted that they chose to go with Daniel Jones instead. You know, he obviously talked about that on draft night. He's a guy that carries that around with him. And I think the connection with McLaurin, it could pay big dividends this weekend.
Wow.
I would expect at least one touchdown pass from Haskins to McLaurin, maybe multiple, because that Giants secondary is terrible, and they don't get after the passer either. So he should have time to find his targets, get through some of his reads, and if we see what we saw last week with the ball coming out quicker, not having him, sit back in the pocket and wait for the pass rush to envelop him, I would expect some success from Haskins this weekend.
I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. So let's get into the McShea comments yesterday. So Todd McShea was on the Dan Patrick Show. That's right, Valdez. Thanks for correcting me. And he was asking him about various job openings and sort of comparing which one would you rather be. Would you rather coach in Cincinnati or Dallas? And, of course, the Redskins were brought up.
Savings. I've been holding back from calling Irvin this week, wondering what he was doing in the box. The current structure, I couldn't allow a friend to take the job without saying something. If you get a new general manager,
wait, are you the friend to Irvin to tell him not to take this job?
I'm just saying hypothetically.
Okay.
If any friend out there who potentially could be taking that job, I would make a phone call and say, make sure you get a football guy who's in between the owner and you. That's the issue. Right now, under the current construct, Washington can't succeed. They need Daniel Snyder to take a step back. They need to hire a general manager that knows football and can evaluate players, and then they need a coach who can, take those players and develop them.
Would you rather coach Washington or Dallas?
Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, between those two, I'd rather coach Carolina, I think, than I would Dallas. But, I'd
rather coach any team I'd rather coach 31 other teams. Let's put it that way.
Washington?
Than Washington right now. Yeah,
Don't sugarcoat it.
I'm completely Team McShea. I think he's dead on accurate here.
I think he's close. He's close obviously because of the Bruce and Dan factor. But would you rather like Cincinnati? You'd rather coach Cincinnati?
I mean, it's a photo finish, but I think
Cleveland.
I think that's just where the Skins are at this point. That's the neighborhood
they're
living
down there in that neighborhood, sure, but I don't think they're clearly worse than say. And Cleveland has a bunch of talent, but look at them underperforming. I think he's talking less about the talent and more about the situation overall.
Yeah,
but you got to look at it overall.
Front office.
Yeah, I know. You got to take that all into consideration. The front office is not a great front office situation in Cleveland or Cincinnati.
They're amongst the bottom 2 or 3 in the league. There's no doubt about it.
I wouldn't argue
with that. And there's not a big gap between 30, 31, and 32.
I'd say they're in the bottom 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're the worst. How about this? If they do, in fact, get rid of Bruce, then where do you put them?
Oh, I think that vaults them up probably 5 to 7 spots. Maybe more.
Right.
Possibly.
Because there are a lot of teams with bad owners.
Certainly.
A lot of teams with bad owners. A lot of teams with meddlesome. Hell,
right.
Jerry Jones is a meddlesome owner.
Right.
But anyway, so Chad played this for Joe T, and we love Joe. But Joe's always going to defend the Redskins. Here were his comments when he heard what McShea said.
Well, first of all, let me say this. Todd McShea is not in a competent position to make that kind of a statement. I think the Redskins, to me, are a very attractive franchise, this football team. You could have said that the San Francisco 49ers a few years ago weren't very attractive. I think Todd McShea is way offline in his comments, way out of line. What does he base a comment like that off of? Those are the kind of things that upset me when people make irresponsible statements. This franchise is brimming with young talent. The defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary, the offensive line. I think the wide receiver position, the quarterback position. Are you kidding? I would love the opportunity to be able to come in and coach this franchise because now first of all, you're coming from a place of struggle. So you haven't won a lot of football games. But you're getting a lot of much better performances out of younger guys as the season wears on. And I think that's a very irresponsible statement by somebody who really doesn't know jack diddly about football. I mean, it's just I think that I personally well, let me just say this. I don't agree with his assessment of the Washington Redskins. Very easily, very candidly put.
Yeah, I think, again, and Joe's not taking, he's not addressing it. He's talking about working for Bruce or Dan.
Right.
See, that's what, he's not really talking about the talent. Although the one thing I'd say with Joe is Joe's talking about all the young talent on defense. Well, we did think they had all this young talent on defense.
I think you might be overestimating the talent.
It turns out
level
the young
of this
talent
team.
on defense isn't quite as great as we thought.
Right.
Now, a lot of that, I think, was the secondary issues that have gotten younger.
Right.
You're right. As we phased out Josh and some of these other guys, we had some young guys that contributed.
Yeah, you're going to audition those guys, see what they've got.
I like Cole Holcomb, okay, but I don't, I think Cole Holcomb's going to be a building block for the future. I'm not sure.
I mean, from the way Joe sounds, it's like a top 10, top 15 talented roster in the league, and I don't think that's the case.
No.